Hey there guys, welcome back, Ricky here. Okay, so time for another Q&A video, and let me show you guys how my Q&A works. And a lot of folks have been, not a lot, a couple of people have commented on that my questions are hand selected to make my channels look better, or that I'm actually making these questions up. That's kind of funny. So let me just show you guys how things look. And I go to my comments section. This is my comments section here. You guys can see this is just the first page. And you can see right here this is all like from 1 or 2 videos. So every day I get about 300 to 400 comments like this. And the way I look for my comments for my Q&A videos is I go to the search comments section. I simply type in questions or question, and it comes up. It will compile a list of all the comments that have the word question either in the front or the end or somewhere in the comment. And this is what it looks like. And so I simply go through this list here. I can show more comments, and I simply go through the list and go down the list, and I pick comments that I think I should answer. That's really it. You know, there's no magic to this. I'm not making questions up, and I'm not. It's so funny if people make these comments. But search for knife questions. I might just type in the word knife, and then every comment with the word knife comes in or comes up. I type in whetstones, and all the comments with the word whetstone will appear. And then I will again go down through the list, and some comments are just comments. Some of them are questions that require like 45 minutes of explaining, so I don't answer those. That's how things work here at Perfection. That's how high-tech things are. So yeah, this is how it looks. And you know, I answer what I can, and what I can't answer I will try to respond in video. Again, there's only one person here in my studio, me, so I don't have a team of people, of producers going through these questions and you know, making video edits for me on the side. I shoot everything myself, I edit everything myself, I pick all the questions myself, and yeah, so hopefully that makes everything a little bit more clear as to how the questions work on my channel. So if you guys have questions that you want me to answer in video, just type in the word question in the comments, either at the end or in the beginning of a comment, and just, you know, I'll eventually get to it. Like I said, I get about 300 to 400 messages a day at this point, and I'm trying my best to answer every one of them personally, and I do that when I can. Some days my schedule is just a little bit too busy. But anyways, back to the questions. The first question we have here is from Bradley Gong. So Bradley is a really cool guy, and he's just always been there on my channel, really active as a subscriber. He responds to every video, and he actually gives a lot of input to a lot of other subscribers as well. Okay, oh, the question. Alright, so the question from Bradley is, okay, so this is, he talks about where he's lived in Sacramento. So here is the question from Bradley. I think you've said that your decision to strop edge trailing or edge leading depends on the shape of the edge. Yes, that is true. So more belly, edge leading. And then I guess the official question is, have you done any sort of testing to compare the edges created by edge trailing versus edge leading stropping? Okay, I remember another YouTuber saying they prefer the direction of the scratch pattern and micro serrations created by edge leading, although I've always done edge trailing strokes, or edge trailing. Thanks. Oops, I just dropped a tempered glass strop. It survived though. Good thing. Oh. Ooh. Alright, so I got 2 knives and a whetstone and a strop. So let's first look at the whetstone, or the topic on the whetstone first. Alright, so here is a whetstone. This is a Debato. This thing is bad stone. I love this stone. It's a splash and go. So here was finally making splash and go stones. Anyway, not a superhero video. Okay. So this here is a Dow Strong 8-inch Shogun. It's got a very nice curved belly, as you can see. And so this knife here, when I'm sharpening this knife, I don't prefer to do the push and pull. I tend to go edge leading strokes. And because I find that knives with a very curved belly have a much easier time being sharpened with edge leading strokes. Going edge trailing strokes, the curvature, it just makes it a little bit more difficult to kind of try to catch that the radius of the cutting edge going backwards. So I find that on knives with a curved belly, I'm always going edge leading strokes, and that's something that I've developed just over time. I've just noticed that on knives of this profile, I just have a much easier time going edge leading strokes. Some people say they can do edge trailing strokes, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Do the technique that works for you. With this shooting here, this here is a very straighter profile knife. It's not completely straight, but it's much straighter than the Dalstrong. And I find that when you're trying to go in an edge leading stroke, the profile just doesn't really lend itself to being sharpened that way. I find that it's much easier to do edge trailing strokes in a more linear pull as opposed to an arc. So with knives with a straighter profile, I tend to do much more linear pulls going backwards, or I can even go forwards, but again, very linear pull. There's no arc in my wrist action at all. That's on the stone. However, on a strop, this is what Brad is asking about. Stropping is different on a leather strop. On a leather strop, even though this knife lends itself much better than going with a more of an arc motion, I can't do that on a strop. I have to go backwards so that I don't actually cut my leather. So on a leather strop, and this is kind of why I wanted to bring out two different mediums, a leather strop and a whetstone, to discuss this in more detail. And he's asking about stropping, which, you know, I don't know how you can strop using edge leading strokes with a knife at all on a leather strop. So I'm sure there are things such as the 3M microfilm. I know that you can probably strop on that with an edge leading stroke, but on leather, just because the leather is just it's very fragile, and there's just the risk is too high of you cutting into your leather. Whether the knife is a curved belly knife or a straight profile knife, I definitely recommend you going edge trailing on a leather strop. However, if you are like me and you simply want to do all the work on a polishing whetstone half of the time, then yes, you can definitely do edge leading or edge trailing on the whetstone with a knife. So the next part of the question has to do with the scratch patterns, and have I noticed a difference between the qualities of edge, or the cut between edge leading and edge trailing strokes. So I never get to go back and forth between them, and I'm sure there might be a difference at a very micro level or at the very absolute level, but in terms of practical daily use, I don't think there would be. There are a lot of really great YouTubers out there. I don't watch videos on YouTube very often. Definitely don't watch any knife videos. I watch sometimes tech reviews and camera review videos, but I don't watch knife videos, so I have no idea what others are doing. I'm sure there's a lot of really great knife channels out there. So Bradley, to answer your question, I don't really know. I don't think there is a major difference in terms of actual cut quality, though you might see a difference with scratch patterns. But if you're stropping, you're going to be going at a higher grit level, so that really shouldn't be apparent, in my personal opinion. But again, I don't really know all that well. But yeah, so hopefully that answers your question. Thank you for the question. So the next question we have here is from Henry, is that Holib? So, hey, love the videos, but I have a question. Sometimes the side of my knife gets small scratches from whetstone sharpening. Is there a way to remove the ones that are there? Also, do you have any advice to circumvent scratching? Okay, so Henry, thank you for the question. The first, see, it doesn't really matter here. Okay, so this knife here, this is a Dalstrong. This knife here I've had now for over a year about a year in my studio, and it has a number of scratches. Not very aggressive scratches though, so I do most of my sharpening on whetstones. And so if you look at this knife here, okay, so this knife here is the Dalstrong 8-inch Shogun, and it's got some very hazy scratches on the left side of the knife. And so if you look really closely here, you can see that there are scratches that looks like just a light haze that runs from, I would say, it's in the middle third of the knife. And that's very normal. That happens when you lean the knife, the spine of the knife, too shallow or too close to the stone. And so to mitigate that, yes, you simply raise the spine off the stone a little bit. There's also another type of scratch which I will show you from another knife. And this knife here, oh, here we go. Hopefully you can see that. Okay, you might be able to see it right above my index finger here. I'm try to give you guys a better angle. Oh, there we go. Here we go. Alright, see those scratches right there? Those those hairline aggressive scratches, camera's out of focus. Okay, so those hairline aggressive scratches has more to do with using things like honing rods. So whetstones can do that, but I think this is more of a honing rod because of the way that the scratch pattern looks. It looks like it has a kind of like a swoosh-like motion to it. I'm pretty sure this was actually done on a honing rod. So same thing with a honing rod. Honing rods actually are much more likely to scratch your knife than a whetstone would, because on a honing rod your hand actually moves, or the hand that's holding the rod actually moves sometimes, and I myself find myself scratching my knives at the very tip, top quarter of the knife, or top quarter inch of the knife, because I tend to, with the honing rod, because I don't use it very often, sometimes if I'm in a rush and I don't have the rod planted, I will actually pull the knife down on the rod, and the last half inch of the knife or so will actually kind of not fold in, but kind of run itself along the rod. So that's very common. If you're sharpening at a point where you actually are creating a lot of scratches on the bottom belly, or the I would say the inch, or the within a half inch or inch of the cutting edge, your angle is way too low. Or what you're doing is you actually are flexing as you're sharpening. So as you're sharpening, you're not keeping a very stable hand, and that's also very common with beginners, and even myself every once in a while. Definitely in the beginning, that was a problem. And we tend to not be able to kind of stabilize the knife very well. So my advice is to adjust your grip a little bit. Find a grip that's very stable for you. So this is the grip that I use. You simply bring your middle finger up to your choil, and you can have your first, I guess, metacarpal. It's a metacarpal, metatarsals. Metacarpal's hand. So I think. So you can bring this area to your choil. This is what I have here, and then you bring your thumb down, and then your index finger, bring it up. So that's the grip I have. And if you have a really long knife, what you can even do is use your ring finger as the first point of contact, and then your thumb will automatically go about an inch higher. So now you have a slightly adjusted grip on this knife. You have a middle finger that can sit back here if you wanted to, and your index finger is still at the spine. But now this gives you a lot more control for a knife that is a lot longer than what we have here. So I always look for things to kind of play around with and see if it works. Try the grip, adjusting your grip a little bit, but most importantly, raise the spine off the whetstone just a hair. I know that it's very tempting to want to sharpen the knife at a very steep angle, something like 10 degrees or 9 degrees. Certain knives can handle that, but if you are new to sharpening, keep it more of like 15 degrees. Make it more easy for you to learn on, and you're less likely to damage your knives. And the first part of the question is, can you remove the scratches? If you have a Damascus cladding knife, no, not really. You can remove the scratches, but you'll also remove a lot of the cladding on your knife, or it'll just make it look really funny and I haven't done it on this knife here, but it would basically, what you'll get is more or less of what you see here. So you see how this hazy looks? This is just from damage on the whetstone, and this is just going back and forth on the whetstone over many, many months. So that's what your knife would look like if you tried to remove these scratches from the profile of the knife. So don't do it. I know it stinks, but if you have a knife that is not a cladded knife, more a monosteel knife, or even a cladded, but the cladding is not a Damascus, you can definitely do that. Start with, the easiest way is to go buy steel wool. You can go like what's that, single knot, double knot, triple knot, and 4 knot, basically the 0 with the hashtag sign. 3M started hashtags. Whoa, it kind of just occurred to me right now. Yeah, so that's the cheapest way. You can buy a pack of those for like 3 or 4 of those for like $1 at your local hardware store. So just scrub that way and go and progressively get finer. You can also use other more expensive products, but I would definitely start there first and see how that works for you. But again, that's, it's all a part of learning. Your knives will get scratches on them. Don't worry about the scratches too much. You can spend more money trying to remove scratches and spend more time trying to remove scratches instead of learning how to sharpen properly. So my best advice to you, don't remove the scratches right now. let them be there because you're gonna have more scratches on your knives over time. And so once you get to the point where you are very comfortable, and you'll know when that time is, there will be a day when you just simply pick up a knife and you can say, I can sharpen on any stone, and your angles will be perfect with every stroke, and you won't have anything wrong with your technique. And at that point, then you can look at some, restoring and recovering some of the beauty of your knives. But in the very beginning, when you're learning, don't worry about the scratches. Okay? Thank you for the question. If you want your questions answered in this video or one of these videos here, just leave a question in the comment section with the word question either in the front or at the end of the comment. You see exactly how I search for these comments. And all of my answers that I give you are just basic experience that I have here in the studio that I've tested on my own time. And so hopefully you guys value that. If you guys like that, please give the video a thumbs up and please consider subscribing to my channel. And make sure you guys hit the notification bell if you guys are subscribed. So a lot of you guys have been asking about Yanagi knives and how to polish them and how to strop them. So I decided to put together a little test series of Yanagi knives. And so I've been testing some different compounds. Let me show you what I have. And these are actually going to be up for grabs because I've just finished testing them. I've told you guys in previous videos that after I finish testing a strop and stropping compound, I'm going to put it up for sale. I really don't want to clean it up and put some new compounds on it. It also gives my subscribers a thing to like pick up once in a while. That's kind of fun for me to do. So let me turn the camera around, I'll show you what they are, and then I'll leave a link in the video description to the place where you can go get them. Okay, here we go. So we have here 4 different compounds that I've tested. This is a 7,000 grit or 3.5 micron by Kent Supplies. This here is a 3 micron 8,000 grit by Norton, which is really nice. This here is a Herald or some other, I think, yeah, it's Herald. So Herald Red, which is about 8 to 9,000 grit. This here is the Norton 1 micron, which is 14,000 grit equivalent. Really nice stuff. It's a diamond paste, so if you guys have never used a diamond paste, definitely look at Norton's. They're awesome. These were actually sent to me by sharpeningsupplies.com. I will post a link in the video description to their website. You guys can definitely check them out. So these are the 16-inch strops that I have. They're 16 inches by 1.5 wide. Really nice. I made these so that I can strop razors and yanagibas and sushi knives specifically. So they're, so these are pretty much brand new. They've only been used a few times by me. And let me show you the knife that I actually was testing. Are you ready for this? Come on, you can do it. You can do it. Oh, here we go. Check this out. This is the most insane knife I have. It's a 300mm Akizawa Yanagiba Tsurugi. So this is just, this is like a samurai sword, guys. Look at this thing. So beautiful, so perfectly polished. This is actually made by, I believe made and sharpened by Kenichi Shiraki, I believe is the craftsman behind this knife here. But look at this thing. It is so beautifully done. Oh, look at that polish. And that's actually done by a wooden grinding wheel, by the way. And look at that thing. Oh my goodness, it's like a 20,000 grit polish on that thing. Maybe even higher. Definitely mirror polish. So I was playing with this knife and trying to replicate that polish and playing with the back areas. And so I'll give you guys a full conclusion of this video of this polishing session and what stropping compounds I like best. So I was actually using a couple different knives. I was actually stropping this knife here a little bit, and I actually stropped some just regular chef knives that were kind of long. So I will post a video for that very soon and tell you guys my conclusions of these stropping compounds. But this is the knife that this is my goal, to replicate this polish here. And I was actually trying to strop this knife and a couple other knives without you ruining their factory polish, and that was kind of a really big thing for me. A lot of folks have been asking about that, and so that's pretty hard to do. These compounds, a couple of them did really well, and again, I'll post a video for that. But I can tell you the Norton 1 micron is an amazing compound. If you guys are looking for a compound and you guys don't really care for the video that I will be posting, go to Sharpening Supplies, look at the Norton 1 micron. It is a fantastic, fantastic stropping compound. So the 8 strops that you have just seen will be up for grabs. There's 1 buffalo and 1 latigo of each. I tested 2 different types of leathers to see how the stropping compounds would actually behave, and the leathers actually do make a pretty big difference. And so again, I'll post a video for that very soon. Yeah, so look for the conclusion video very soon. I will do my best to get the video up for you guys ASAP. These are all up to 1 microns. So you have 7,000, 8,000, 9,000, and 14,000 grit. I will be posting a video series, or actually I'll start recording the higher compounds, the higher grit compounds within a week or two, or maybe 2 to 3 weeks more likely. And so I'll be testing the DMTs, and those are like 20,000 grit, 40,000 grit, and I think even 80,000 grit. And then I also get a 100,000 grit compound, which I'll be testing as well. But yeah, so I'll have that series hopefully within a month, shot, edited, and uploaded within a month. That's my goal. I can't say that's my promise, but that's my goal. These will be up for grabs, and then hopefully within 3 weeks or so, the demos for the other video, the higher grit compounds, will be up for grabs as well. So just look out for that. I will post a video, letting you guys know when those will be up for sale. All right. Well, that'll be it for this video. Thank you guys for being here, and I'll catch you in the next one.